The Titanic movie has officially reached its 25th anniversary. So today I have a few little facts that I want to share with you because I think they're just interesting and they need to be known. Number 1, the captain of the Titanic, Captain Smith, was set to retire right after his voyage on the Titanic. Now, unfortunately, he never made it to retirement because of the Titanic sinking, which was very unfortunate. But that does bring us to number 2. There was a woman who ended up not only surviving the Titanic, but the other sister ships, the Britannic and the Olympic. Her name was Violet Jessop. Now, the first ship being the Olympic didn't suffer any actual casualties, so it wasn't too hard for her to survive that one. However, the Titanic was definitely a feat, because the Titanic had roughly 2,000 people aboard and lost over 1,500 people. After that as well, she also took a trip on the Britannic, but like the Olympic, the Britannic wasn't too bad, only losing 32 people approximately with a crew of 1,000 people on board, so it wasn't nearly as dangerous. However, she did survive this one as well. Now, this third one is kind of strange. There was a book that almost perfectly predicted the sinking of the Titanic 14 years before the Titanic had even set sail. In 1898, Morgan Robertson wrote a book called The Wreck of the Titan, which basically was this story about a giant unsinkable ship that eventually sunk due to colliding with an iceberg. The eerie similarities go even further than that though. The official date that the Titanic sank was April 15th, 1912. In the book, the Titan sinks during the month of April. It's not too specific on a date. Another thing that is very similar is the location. The Titan sank in the North Atlantic, while the actual Titanic also sank in the North Atlantic. But one of the scariest coincidences was that in the book, the Titan didn't even have enough lifeboats to carry half the people on board. It only had 24 lifeboats. In real life, the Titanic also did not have nearly enough lifeboats to save everyone on board. The Titan had 3,000 souls, losing 1.5 thousand, where the Titanic in real life had 2,200 and lost 1,500. It's very similar and almost too coincidental. I don't necessarily believe in time travel, but if I were to, this would definitely be some solid proof for me. Number 4. Some people might not know this, but there was a movie before the actual Titanic movie that we know and love today. This movie was released in 1953, and because they didn't have a lot of information on what happened that night, due to the fact that it was entirely black and you really couldn't see anything that night, they originally thought that the Titanic never even split in half on its way down. This clip right here kind of shows you that they basically thought the Titanic went down in full and never even capsized in half. As we know now, because of James Cameron's discoveries, the Titanic definitely did split on the way down, causing the lights to malfunction and go out, but it does make sense that no one would have been able to see this since the lights were the only thing that was keeping it from being pitch black at the time. Number 5, John Jacob Astor VI was one of the richest men in the world, let alone the richest passenger on the Titanic. With a net worth of approximately 150 million, which nowadays would be about 3.7 billion, unfortunately passed away on the Titanic. So a lot of people have theorized that maybe the Titanic was a setup or something because of this. I don't personally believe that, but it is something very, very fishy. Number 6. This is one of the most interesting facts to me though. If the Titanic were to have actually hit the iceberg dead on, instead of just trying to avoid it and accidentally putting a big hole in the side of the ship, it would have been totally fine. Because of the way the Titanic was constructed, it had 16 different compartments. If 1 to 2 or even 3 compartments filled with water, it should still be able to float. But unfortunately, once the 4th compartment was breached, that's what caused the sinking of the Titanic. Just to think, all these stories and movies might not have even existed today were they just to actually hit the iceberg dead on. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, and I'll see you later.